So if I wanted to try and have a go at doing this at home,
you've no chance. No, you can't do this in a domestic environment.
Right people, stayed overnight in Liverpool up early because we're going on a little adventure to Northern Ireland. I'm off to Belfast in the van. Right people, welcome to episode 2 of the beef series. Now, if you haven't subscribed, what? Call yourself a fan of beef? I mean, people, I've got the most awesome content coming at you in the next 4 and 5 weeks, and you want to be subscribed so you can catch every episode. So I'm off to see Peter Hannan. He's one of only a handful of guys in the world that is really pushing the boundaries when it comes to aging meat. You see, most steaks, most beef in the supermarket, it's only aged for about 10 days and it's wet aged. That's no good. In an artisan butcher, the good stuff is aged for 28 to 30. And in a great restaurant, you're getting up to 60 days. Well, Peter Hannan, he's pushed the envelope to 400 days. Peter, how are you? Good
I'm
to see
very
you.
well. How are you? I hope you have a good appetite, have you?
Bring it on, bring it on.
Our starting point was where we were tasting a lot of beef that had been dry aged, and we consistently thought there must be a better way of doing this. And the reason most people offer meat aged at 28 days is that's really when you need to be eating it if you're not in control of a lot more elements than temperature. We started by hanging a side of beef in a cold room, and we educated ourselves on what actually happens and inhibit certain things from happening. And we thought, can light do it, can humidity do it, can airspeed, temperature, all those sort of things. We eventually got to a point where we were happy with what we had done, and the whole salt process was almost a fluke.
How long were you banging your head against the wall before you came up with the breakthrough of salt?
We were at it for over 5 years, and then 2 years with the salt. So before we built our first salt chamber, we've been 7 years.
So can we go and film in the chambers?
You'll have me shot at the door. They've never let a camera into film.
Really?
No, but we'll let you have a peep. How about that?
A wee look.
There's 16.5 tonne of salt in that wall.
16.5 tonne. Bloody hell.
The 1st of April 2015 we slaughtered this. They're just controls, we're not going to eat them, these ones are safe.
Why, Peter?
I think the important thing to point out here, brothers and sisters, is that Peter really is a bovine Jedi Knight. There isn't anything he doesn't know about it. We could have made a 2-hour documentary on all the information that he shared with us, but here is a quick summary of some of the points.
You're a very bad man.
When it comes to aging a piece of beef, ultimately what you're trying to do is displace moisture, concentrate flavour. Depending on what it is you're trying to achieve will dictate where you want to be at any given point in time. Your tenderness process is something that people quite often focus on, saying, oh, it's so old, it must be so tender. That work is pretty well all finished at 28 days. Inside in the salt chamber, you won't find any mould growth. Whenever we started this, we didn't have a recipe to follow. When you go innovating, there isn't any plan. When we initially started, we were entirely manual. Now the way we have it, it's almost like a jet on autopilot. Everything sort of is in fine tune. None of this would happen unless you had a very passionate group of people who are focused on the same end result.
Like, how incredible is this place? And how awesome is Peter? So he's nipped into the chamber to get a special piece of beef. So I'm going to set up the truck.
John, this is a beef chop, we call it, côte de boeuf, just with an exposed bone. Slaughtered, as you can see, on the 4th of June 2018. It's 108 days old. We'll just season this up. We'll put it on the little green egg for a while.
Okay.
It's probably going to take us about, 30 minutes thereabouts.
Okay.
I'm a great believer in, I have a thing about pieces like this, a 666 and 6. So you leave it untouched in a pan or on a barbie one here for 6 minutes. Turn it for 6 minutes, slide it into the oven, 170 oven for 6 minutes, and rest it for 6 minutes. It's a great way of handling a piece of beef to sort of give you a medium rare to medium, which I think it needs to be. Everybody has their own preference, but you do need to cook a piece of beef sufficiently so that you start to break down after all the work we've done. We want to try and eat it as best. We'll be trying to hit this for an internal temp of about 54, 55 degrees. When we rest it, it'll then rise up to about 58, and then we'll slice it and see what's like. We've had 5 minutes, we'll give it another 5, I think.
Okay.
Then 108 days, then 45 minutes, and then 12 minutes resting.
Wow. It should have a blue cheese thing because it's so old. It's not. It's like when you put a sauce in or a jus and you reduce it down, and you get that intensity. The depth in the beef. What you're good at is the balance, isn't it? It's taken you many years, but you finally found balance. But it's right though, isn't it? It's like, it's the balance. Oh, Peter, thank you. That's spectacular.
Pleasure.
So my challenge is that I want to try and recreate this. All right, Pete, it was great. Not lovely to meet you. See you later.
Bring the beef with you. That's the only way you'll recreate it.
But
we'll send you some.
I want to have a go. But the thing is, I'm not going to get to 108 days.
Nor should you want to. You know, in what you're going to be able to replicate, you should be able to produce something pretty nice, but with a lot of things.
I'm going to have a go at 28 to 30 days.
I think you should, and we can help you do that very, very well.
Okay. I'm going to hit the bone.
Hit the ball.
Incredible. Peter, that was worth the drive, the ferry, the overnight stay in Liverpool, the lot. It is really,
I'm glad you enjoyed
special.
it. It's been lovely to have you.
Thank you so
Come back
much.
anytime.
We will be. And then you're going to have to come to London.
Yes, no, I'll come to London and we'll do something strange and wonderful.
Sure, yeah.
What an incredible day, eh? Like, wow, what a privilege to you know, we're the first cameras ever that he's ever allowed to go into those salt chambers. Like, what a privilege, what an absolute privilege. And Peter Hannan is the guy that's responsible for the beef aging revolution that's happened in London over the last 10 years. You know, he's had Mark Hicks in there, Richard Turner, he's had Marco Pierre Whitelock, all the greats, all the legends. It's one thing to have your mates round to try it, it's another thing to have Peter Hannan and Richard Turner and Mark Hicks come to my studio in Shepherd's Bush and to taste the meat that I've aged for the first time ever. The next thing I've got to do is I've got to get the piece of beef. For that, we're going to Scotland. I'm going to meet a husband and wife team that got a herd of pedigree Wagyu. So I'm going to meet them to learn more about this prized breed of beef and to get my rib of beef to age.